What's going on, everybody? I'm Rookie Pilot, and today that 66 sitting behind us is going to be getting some pretty significant power upgrades. So if you guys are new here, welcome. If not, you guys already know Project J sitting behind us. This 66 has an original 289 with the original intake and carburetor setup. The original intake and carburetor were a 2-barrel system, which was adequate, but we want to make the engine breathe a little better. We have 2 major upgrades today which work together, letting the engine breathe a little better. This car already does have headers, so adding a more breathable intake and carburetor just makes sense. Our first upgrade is this Edelbrock Performer Aluminum Intake, and once again the factory unit has 2 barrels where this has 4. I know you see 2 big holes, but you'll see in a bit. This aluminum intake is going to help the engine breathe a little better, as well as it's saving weight. I'm not sure if you're gonna feel the difference in the weight, but you're definitely gonna feel the difference in power. Next in our upgrade sandwich is the carburetor setup. So this is a Summit M2008. I'm not sponsored by Edelbrock or Summit, but I've used this carburetor before on the Little Red project. It's just an easy out of the box, ready, set and forget it type of product. So as you can see, this one has 4 barrels compared to our factory 2 barrels. So once again, that's gonna help the engine breathe a little better. And one really cool thing about this carburetor is that these 2 are mechanically operated and these 2 are vacuum operated. So in simple terms, that means that you're usually gonna be running on these 2 barrels, but when you need the power, these will open up. That's enough talking though. Let's give this thing more power. Ready, set, go. Okay, small update. We have most of the accessories and bits out of the way. Everything went pretty smoothly, other than the oil pressure sending unit cable broke, so we're gonna have to repair that. But that's an easy fix. But we're about ready to take that thing off. Oh, and the reason I drained the coolant earlier was, like I said, because that intake houses some of the water jackets. So if I were to take that intake off with the full capacity of coolant, there's a possibility that we might have some go into the oil valleys and mix with the oil, so we don't want that to happen. So that's why we drained it. All right, so the intake came off pretty easily. A bit of coolant still spilled into the valley. So we're gonna clean that up as best as we can, as well as drain the oil and replace it with fresh stuff. But yeah, all that's left is to clean up the surface, get it ready for our new gaskets. I have a plastic scraper as well as an actual razor blade here to remove the old gaskets, and I'm probably gonna use some mineral spirits to clean up some of the residue. So I made a quick run to the hardware store and picked up these 3 bolts. So what I'm gonna do with those bolts is I'm gonna cut the bolt head off, and they're essentially gonna be guides for the intake manifold to just perfectly sit in its place so it won't be wobbling around while the silicone is setting. All right, so this is the part where these bolts are gonna come in handy. Just gonna go in a couple threads, 1 on each opposite end, and 1 towards the center. Okay, let's get lined up with our bolts. There's 1. There's 2, there's 3. Oh man, this AC bracket nut is getting in the way. We're gonna remove it real quick. Okay, try number 2. Okay, and we let her sit. All right, awesome. Okay, we're looking pretty good. Intake is now in, our new hardware is in. So now we're gonna torque them to spec. Edelbrock says to torque it down to 18 to 20 foot-pounds. I'm gonna do one round of 10 foot-pounds and then go to the 18 foot-pound. So there is a specific order that we have to torque them down. We're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, there's round 1 with 10 foot-pounds. Now we're gonna go up to 20. All right, intake is in and torqued up. Good to go. Okay, so now the hard part is done. We're about ready to fire this thing up. Couple things that we did before we fire it up. We put some fresh oil in it and a new fuel filter as well as a new fuel line. Other than that, let's see if this thing will fire up. Well, the battery's dead. All right, so despite the fact that we had a dead battery, I would consider that pretty successful. We had a pretty good start. We had a slight fuel leak at the fuel rail, but it was a pretty easy fix, as well as I had to adjust the float levels on the carburetor because they were too high and they were flooding the engine. But we've just double checked everything for leaks and everything looks pretty good, so let's take it out for a test drive. Yeah, it's definitely breathing a little better. Has more of a punch now. Okay, so we definitely felt a power difference, but we're gonna fine tune it so we can juice every little bit that we can. Okay, test drive number 2. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, she's happy. I mean, we're not gonna be winning any races anytime soon, but it gives this 289 a little more room to breathe, and it's able to stretch out its legs a little more. But it wasn't just a simple bolt-on situation. We had to do a couple things to make it work. For example, we had to relocate the ignition coil as well as modify the throttle linkage for it to all work together. All right, everybody, that concludes this power upgrade to this 66 coupe behind us. I wish we had an actual dyno to see actual numbers and differences other than my butt dyno. So once again, this upgrade is going to help Project J breathe a lot better. Since it already had headers, and not an upgraded intake or carburetor. It was kind of choking it down. Our next upgrade is going to be upgrading the cooling system, which consists of an upgraded aluminum radiator as well as a different fan and its fan shroud. But we have this car pretty dialed in. I'm happy with the result and I hope the owner will be too. And if anybody's wondering about number 3, no, we haven't forgotten her yet. We just need to get this Project J done and then we'll get right back to it. If you guys like these videos, please remember to like and subscribe. It really helps us out a lot. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you guys on the next one.